My last video, I made two of these boards here. I made two of them, one for our grandson Zyler and one for our daughter Madison. And I built his first, and during that I found a few things that I could have done much better, which I did on hers, and for no reason other than I just needed to get his shipped, and she lives with us. So here's what I did differently on this board. First of all, it's a little bit bigger. As you've seen in the video, I don't have a cross-cut sled, so I tried to clean up the edges, and that, of course, narrowed it down, and it didn't do as good, so I wasn't able to add things like carrot, milk, and cookies to his, because it just was spacing-wise. And so I didn't trim the edges on this one. And then also with the handles, his handles, I glued the four boards together, and then screwed, as you can see, screwed these on there, and glued and screwed the boards on, and then I went to put the handles on. Well, the screws themselves for here were not long enough to go all the way through this, so what I would have had done is countersink the crap out of it, but some of those screws were in the way of where his handles were. On this board, they're not in the way. So what I ended up doing is, before I attached this board, I attached the handles to this board. So the screws for this one the heads of them are buried in between here. So they will never come undone. And if they do unthread just a little bit, it ain't going nowhere. Plus there's a little CA glue on them anyways. So there's that difference. The glue up is a little bit better on this one. As you can see, it's more flush between these boards. This is the straighter. I found just did it a little bit not as tight. I don't know what I did different there actually, but it just worked out a little bit better on hers. I also did not use the OB Shine Juice first. As you've seen, my issues with trying to get the Cricut. I said it like she did. The Cricut stuff on there, on this one. And then we also, whenever she did, she being my wife, when she made the Cricut cuttings for these letterings, she used a different transfer, which wasn't as strong, which worked out better. It made it to where it peeled off much easier. And then on his, I used polyacrylic on it, and then on this one, I just used the spray lacquer. Neither one of those two are any different. I don't see a big difference between those two. They both worked pretty good. I like the looks of both of them. And other than that, that's about it. But here's her board. If you want to see how I made it, you can go back and watch the previous video. But it was easy to make, fun to make, and I got this one done just in time. It is the 21st, so 21st December, of course. So her board is done. Mom's going to make a cup for the milk eventually. That's going to be using those. That's her project. But here it is. So it was I used one board. I bought two boards total. And this can easily be done with just one, and you'll have leftover. But there's a board here, 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 and here glued together. Once I glued these two boards together, then these two boards together first, sent them through my planer, got them all nice and plain down, nice and smooth, and then glued the two separate sections together. Once that glue dried, I then ran these pieces, because they were attached, these were just one board. I ripped it down the middle, and then rounded round over edges on the two sides here, and then put some decorative router edges on the ends here. Attached, may have done one or two coats of lacquer on here first actually, and then attached the handles to this. We put I laid the boards down, drew a pencil line on these sides, so we knew where to put the Cricut vinyl stuff down. Laid those down, got them all stuck on here. Handful of coats of lacquer, on it without these boards attached. Just lacquered these a handful of times. I think I got like 4, 5, 6 coats on there. Then realized that I needed to sand the lacquer off of this section where it's glued down, so I had to sand that down a little bit on the main board underneath where these attach. Once I got that sanded down, that way the glue can go, and then I drilled the holes. So what I did is I took, because the handles were attached, I took a piece of painter's tape, laid the board down, the slats here where I wanted them, put a piece of painter's tape around to hold this in the spot so I can flip it upside down, and then carefully drill my holes. Started with these two. That way if the boards were warped a little bit, it can help bring it down, and then I screwed these, drilled and screwed these ones in. And then got those attached, and then did a couple layers more of the lacquer over top of all of it. And then also for Christmas this year, which is, I got an early gift, my wife got me a branding tool. When you plug in, turn it up to, this is the first time I used it, I turned it up to 400, because it said like 800 degrees or something like that, 700 degrees for hardwood. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just go to 4 and see what happens. And it did good, a little bit too much, but so I got to crank it down a notch on this one. But that's the first time I used it, so my first branding on hers. Zyler's doesn't have a branding on it because I didn't get it until after his already shipped. But then anyways, then I did a couple of coats of spray lacquer on this side as well, just to seal the bottom. But that's it. It was a quick project. It took a while because I didn't have a lot of time to work out there in the shop, working, and it's cold outside, and I don't have any heater in there yet. So, but there she is. Madison's upstairs sleeping, so she's not getting down here to see it yet, even though she's only 8.5 months old. She's not going to really know what the heck's going on anyways, but now she's got her Santa milk and cookie and reindeer carrot tray that she can have for the rest of her life. It should last a good long time. Thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, this was just what I did different on her board versus what I did on his board. So if you want to see the whole process of me building this, go check out his board. But thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like. Any comments that you see, and even with my description of how I did this, let me know what I did wrong. Be more than happy to hear it. Thanks, guys.